Jake Humphries, PSP. So, the other night, or last night, I think it was last night, no, it was 2 nights ago, we had our first Davis Cup evening, where my clients in PSP ATP went 1-1, but still profited 0.8 stakes. I had Marin, Cilic -7 as an extra play against Federico Del Bonis. That obviously lost. It looked good early on, but Cilic just got a little bit complacent, and the tough Argentine that Del Bonis is, he was able to kind of turn things around and win the middle 2 sets, and was able to erase that handicap. However, we had that bet down for 1 stake, but we had Del Potro -3.5 for 3 stakes in PSP ATP, and then in Gumby's tennis picks, we had Del Potro only for 2 stakes -3.5. So the Gumby's tennis picks people profited 1.2 stakes, and the PSP ATP people profited 0.8 stakes. So it was a successful first night. As long as we're getting profit each time we come out and bet, then we've really got nothing to complain about, and that's what we had on the first night of the Davis Cup. So here's the second night, or the second night of the Davis Cup, Croatia versus Argentina. I think an update on the outright markets is in order, given the fact that Croatia were about $1.50 before the first night, and we'll see if we can have a look at what the markets are now. Futures outright: Croatia $1.20, Argentina $3.75. So Croatia have certainly firmed in. If you're a Croatia bettor, you're probably looking at a reasonably decent cash out. But we weren't on any of those picks anyway. 2 minutes in right now. Let's get into the first matchup, and it's one that I like, but it's one that I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm a little bit scared about this one. We've got Marin Cilic versus Juan Del Potro. Obviously Marin Cilic is at home. He's $2.63 on Sportsbet. Juan Del Potro is $1.49. The game handicap is it's 2.5 on Sportsbet for $1.72. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to CrownBet, which is another one of my favourite bookies. And I'm going to see what the line is that we have there, and I'm guessing it's probably a little bit similar, but it could be -3 for Del Potro. CrownBet like to do the 3.0. So it's 3.5 on CrownBet for Del Potro, and they've got him down as $1.50. Look, I think Del Potro is going to beat Cilic. These guys have played 10 times before, I believe. Yes, this is the 11th time that they've played. They haven't played since 2013, however. I think it's dangerous to fade Marin Cilic in this situation, because I do know that Juan Del Potro opened as a $1.57 or maybe even a $1.60 favourite. He's since gone all the way in to $1.45, $1.50, whatever. So he's gone in quite a fair amount. And I don't really like following those public-heavy trends. Like, I like to go the other way, and there was a match a few weeks ago, or about 2 weeks ago probably, where Marin Cilic played Kei Nishikori, and Cilic started at about $2.20, and then went all the way out to $2.60, and ended up winning. So when you're talking about public flow and odds movement in tennis, at least, or any sport, in my opinion, I don't think that you can use the line movement as much of a measuring stick for what's going to happen in the match. So I guess what I'm saying to you is, just because Juan Del Potro has gone from $1.60 into $1.50 or $1.48 or wherever you may find him odds-wise, that's not any stronger indication for mine that he's going to win. Now, I spoke to you about Del Potro's... He can be a little bit... he can lack a little bit of focus sometimes when he's serving. He doesn't have the really, really strong ability to continually hold serve back-to-back. I think Cilic has the service advantage here, which makes me worried about a 3.5 line cover. I think a 2.5 line cover on Sportsbet is probably something I'm a little bit more comfortable with. But it's not something that I'm going to be jumping all over. I'll tell you why. Cilic has a great serve. He's very good on the hard court. He's probably a little bit disappointed with how he played against Federico Del Bonis. I think he's in a pretty good patch of form despite the middle 2 sets. And look, even though Del Potro is really coming into his own, he is potentially getting close to that form that had him win a US Open all those years ago. I don't know if he's going to be able to walk through Cilic like a lot of people expect. I think this one could potentially go to 4 or 5 sets. Look, it is a hard one for me. The two markets I'm looking at are Del Potro -1.5 set handicap, and more favourably, Del Potro -2.5 game handicap. Now, I think that's something that I'll end up having a play on. I'm not going to be giving it out right now, but that's kind of all I'm going to talk about. Just a short 5-6 minute podcast. I'm just going to tell you guys, be careful with Del Potro. Yes, he's the popular pick. Yes, he is a glamorous kind of player. Tall Argentine with a really attractive game. But he's playing on the road. He's playing against a good server on his favourite surface. And just because he's going in price-wise doesn't mean he's going to go in there and get the job done. So I may come out with a -2.5 or -1.5 set handicap pick for Del Potro. But for you guys who have already bet or betting on your own, I'd probably be a little bit careful with it. Thank you.